Amita, and I'm a public health bioethicist, and I work with the College of Medicine, the administrator for the ethics committee. What Malawi needs right now is to build the moral capital of the individuals. That's where everything is going to start. If we have a good moral capital, we'll be able to stamp out corruption, therefore build a better Malawi. So
what are the chances that someone in the village is able to achieve the same thing that you guys and us were able to? Yeah.
It's a very, very, very slim chance that they'll get that opportunity. I sit down and I tell people that, we were the privileged few that had that opportunity.
My name is Chris Rande. I'm a lawyer by training. I specialize in human rights. So I offer support to NGOs to make sure that they get empowered to human rights and governance. I also do issues of business and human rights. I am based at the Center for Human Rights, University of Pretoria, to coordinate a graduate program on human rights. So, yeah.
What is the environment now compared to before in terms of them being able to get the same chances that we guys did get to be able to realize where we are? So
everybody who had a small house, a 3-bedroom house, introduced school, and we said no, it is fine. Then we also saw a system when the private school, the standards were even lower. Then we became confused, and in the midst of confusion and also lack of time even to stop things, because we had an opportunity to say, hey, I think we have rushed too much. I think we are making standards go down. We did not. We started pushing things, trying to do crash programs. We found that people who had JC being pushed to teach in primary school, when during our time, those teaching in primary school had at least a Malawi school certificate of education.
I'm Joseph Kamuzu. I work in the energy sector. I'm a senior projects accountant for ESCOM. I hold a master's degree in business administration. But in my other life, I also do trade union work. So I'm a Treasurer General of the Malawi Congress of Trade Union. And I chair the Static Network on Energy for unions in the energy sector across the sub-Saharan Africa. But all in all, I'm an accountant working with the World Bank and KFW, and that's what we do. So energy sector is our field, and accounting is the profession. Sure.
Is that equal opportunity still available in Malawi? Can a child from these areas who is not able at all to be able to pay for their education, but they have the ability and the intelligence and the potential, can they get the same opportunities that we guys did? And if not, what has gone wrong? So
my take would be no, a resounding no, because what we had was a system that was able to identify the kids that have the potential, whether they have the financial ability or not. And so they would go through the normal government primary school and be able to get to have a chance to sit for primary school leaving certificate exams and all that. Now, what we have currently is that, yes, the primary school leaving certificate is there, the exams are there, right? But the government schools, they have really deteriorated. So the level of education, the standard of education has gone down.
My name is Kambani Mchiera. So just like Joseph, I'm also an accountant. And again, just like Joseph, I'm also in the energy sector. Because I work for a petroleum importing and logistics company in the capacity of finance manager and company secretary. In my spare time, I'm also a farmer. So I think basically in a nutshell, that's what I do.
So what could we put this down to? Is it a question of the leadership lacking vision to implement the same? What has gone wrong for us?
My view on that would be it's really about the leadership, lacking the vision. Because I think what we have seen in the past, few years, almost maybe 2 decades or so, I think there hasn't been serious investment in like what we're talking about in the education sector. And I think that's what my colleagues are talking about there to say that if you look at the state of public schools now, it's simply pathetic. I think there's no other way to put it.
I'm Linda Dembo. 20 years of experience in policy behavior change. Yes, hello everyone. I have 20 years experience in policy behavior change, and a qualified education expert, which means I have a degree in education, and I have an interest in vocational and financial empowerment, asset creation and job creation. I hope you're able to hear me. I also have an interest in sustainable development goals, and I have an interest in the youth being a major priority in the population of the country. The population of Malawi is mainly the youth, so I have a vested interest in the youth, and it's my biggest concern. And the unemployment rates are alarming, and sometimes I have to say something has to be done as a matter of priority. So there's need for the government to make deliberate efforts to empower the youth in various skills that will boost Malawi trade and industry potential.
Hi, my name is Roderick Junaid Kalumpa, and I'm based in London. I am a group financial controller for an independent tea trading private company in the United Kingdom. But I also run a few charities that are involved in Malawi. The biggest of which is called Malawi Healthcare Support UK, Malawi Healthcare Support UK, where I am the vice chairman.
Now, I pose a different question. What is the cause of this? Because if you look at the people who have come through either in administration or in these ministers or whatever, I don't think they are necessarily not educated people to understand what is required, what is needed for a country to progress. So why is it that these people haven't taken the right measures? Is it because even for them, they have the vision, they have the ideas? Is it the people they are working with who haven't got the same vision and they can't implement? Why is it? Because I'm sure, if you look at, Bakili, even Mutarikas, Chakwe and Chilimanao, they are very educated people who understand the things that we are talking about now. But why hasn't anything happened? Yeah.
Now, Alex, coming to the issue of why is it that we're in this sorry state? For me, the background has been given, by Crispin, where he said, failure in the systems collapsing and all those kind of stuff. And but also the main cause is he touched on something where he said when we tried to when we went into multi-party democracy in 1994, everything came free for all. So the first point of contact where we need to look at is the leadership. When Bakili Molozi came, we thought, oh yeah, now we are free to do anything. I can open a 3-bedroom house into a private secondary school, as he put it. So it's the leadership that has to, first of all, take ownership for what we have had. Because if Kamuzu keep the standards as they were for 30 years, there is no reason that now, over 26-year period, we should wipe out all the gains that we made over 30 years.
All right. My name is Peter Mota. I hold a bachelor's degree in education and a bachelor's degree in laws, honors. I've worked before with the Malawi Human Rights Commission as this legal counsel, but currently I'm working with the Competition and Fair Trading Commission as chief legal officer for the commission.
Yeah.
So this commission was established to promote just competition among enterprises, business enterprises, and to promote rights and welfare of consumers. So that's where I am working as a lawyer at that institution.
Yeah. Yeah, cool.
Yes.
That'll
And
be
I'm a family. I'm not a farmer, and I'm a family man. And a sheikh.
I'm sure by the end of this discussion, if Kamban has his word, you'll be a farmer by tomorrow. I'm sure you'll start farming.
Yeah, exactly. You know, he has been my mentor, so I think my mentor is going to teach me some tips of farming. You know,
to farm.
Yes.
Mr. Peter Moore, the president tomorrow, 100 days in office. What's the first task? Bearing in mind what you know now and what we're discussing, what's the way to reverse this trend?
Yeah, right. I think to begin with, I would say that okay, in the past, people could feel the importance of education. They would go to school, graduate, and instantly maybe get a job, or maybe get a capital to start business. But that is not what is happening now. You go to school all the way to university. You have a PhD, you have a master's degree, 2 masters in fact, but you're useless. You're not employed. You're not doing any business. You don't have capital to set up your own business. So I think if I become president today, then I would make sure that my citizens see the importance of education. People should not just go to school for its own sake. They should see that if when I go to school, this is what is going to happen to me. I'll have maybe a better life in the future. But if you can't see the benefit of education, then you would rather not go to school. Maybe go to South Africa and get money and come back. And what Joseph said, fight your way through the system, get contracts, and then be somebody in society. Yeah. So.
Susan Kotokwa, that's my maiden name now, Susan Masiku. I have the first degree I did was in Bachelor of Arts, and from there I've run for over 25 years, and I've had the opportunity to do my law degree, and I've just been recently admitted to the bar. So my basic concept is in business and it's in education, which is what I've done for such a long time, and administration as well. So most of the policies I with education and children welfare. That I think is the basic one.
Cool. But now, because of the short-term nature of leadership, like you have 5 years to rule, you're just looking at what can I do to benefit from that. So maybe give us your take around that view, in the sense of how do you see the system the way it is now? What has failed us to break down this system, that there's no investment in infrastructure for the long term, and also maybe the leadership failing us in some way, if you see it that way, to actually lead us in building those, so that we're actually progressing rather than moving backwards in helping Malawians. What's your take?
I'll just answer on one side of, I think, education. For someone who has taught for over 20 years, I can see the way the system is, the way it is actually failing, okay? It is because things like ministries, we have politicized them. We need people who need to work within the system. Yes, we can have the minister as a political appointment, but if we take the basic department and not let it do what it's actually supposed to do, for the 20 years, we've changed the system in books probably 4 or 5 times.
Alex, my name is Leo Kasote. I'm straight from Lilongwe in Malawi, and I'm the Chief Financial Officer for microfinance in Malawi called Express Credit Limited.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Leo. What would you do day one in office to change this trend?
Day one in the office, would be, I think, one of the very difficult and challenging day in my life, because I think, to me, I still believe that it's about leadership. You know, leadership. I think it's not just those top guys, the Chakwera and the other one, and the other guy. No, I think leadership. We have to take leadership, because I think why I'm saying that is, for example, if me as a leader of my organization, I'm corrupt, for example, and my people down there know that I'm corrupt, would I have the audacity to tell my junior that, well, don't be corrupt? No. So I think it's about the top guys taking lead in trying to set an example for the people that are following. That is why I still believe that I think leadership on top there, our presidents and the politicians have also failed us in some way. Because
all right, no, I'm Daniel Dunga. I worked 15, 16, 17 years in the corporate world in Malawi. I currently work for the Nico Group. I focus on investments management, so managing people's money. But before that, I worked in the regulation space, managing a body of accountants.
Yeah.
So really, I'm a finance person, but maybe I can throw in governance just to make it sound nice.
I think Dunga is pulling out his checkbook actually. So let's see what's the figure, Dunga. How much are we dishing out? Over to you.
Well, we're not pumping anything at the moment, at the point in time. But I think Christine makes a real good point here. I think what the politicians have managed to do is to weaken everybody and to make everyone afraid of them, such that if Nico or National Bank or Press Corporation sees something not going in the right way, they will not risk themselves by providing a voice. But really, we should throw away that fear and say we are in this boat together. If one person messes it up, he will mess all of us. So everybody should create a voice, which is the accountability that Crispin is talking about. So I think it's an idea that the corporate world should really begin to think about, to have a real voice. Because look, where does the money come from to fund government? Money to fund government comes from taxes, and the corporate world pays a big chunk of that tax. So the people who should be speaking about what that money should be doing should be the corporate world. But we've been very, very quiet. I don't know if Gibson knows any CEO who has spoken clearly about policies. I remember Chikaunda used to, speak, but I don't know, not anymore. So maybe I'll start, Chris.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Winnie Mwakudera. Most of you know me as Winnie Galimba. The times have since changed. I am a qualified accountant and currently working in business. So if you need some tips, you know who to go to. But yeah, just very interested to contribute. Unfortunately, I couldn't really prepare for as much as I wanted to, so I'm listening in the background. But basically, I just wanted to make a quick comment, maybe two quick comments. And I know the conversation has been centered around Malawi, the privileged child versus the less privileged child. But I just wanted to expand it a little bit and say that we are now living in a global environment. So generally just looking at whether privileged or not privileged, but are we getting the right education and are we getting the right skills to be able to compete on a global environment? And to be able to answer that question, I ask myself whether I would take my child to a Malawi school or would rather take them somewhere else for their education. And when I look at the future for my child, do I see that future in Malawi or do I see it outside? It's a conversation that I've had with my husband on several occasions, and we've always sort of defaulted to saying the child needs to go somewhere else, whether it's South Africa or the UK or America. And I think that's the mentality of most parents now, which shouldn't be the case. Because I think a couple of you mentioned that Malawi is that capability, but what is it that is making us not want to invest in here? So again, I would say, for example, the Alexes of this world. What is it that, what makes you not settle in Malawi and choose somewhere else? And these are important questions because at the end of the day, we have to say that we want the best for our children.
And chinanga chophika then kutenga pera ndokumakuwa ndokumadya.
That's awesome.
But I think that's one of the things that we need to actually change. When you talk about food, we spend so much time cooking. Like literally, we believe in spending an hour in the morning cooking, an hour in the afternoon cooking, or 2 hours. Then at tea time, we're cooking again. What time do we have to be productive? So this is one of the things that I always say as well, that as Malawians, we need to cut out all this and focus on being more productive.
Yeah.
I agree with Winnie. We don't need to cook nsima freshly every day. We don't need nsima more morning, noon, and night. Get a food on the go. You know, working lunch should be a thing. Who's saying no?
We have talked about leadership here. So even our leaders have said it is katatu. So we can't do anything about that.
He didn't say cook 3 times. He said eat 3 times. Eat 3 times.
Yes.
Not cook 3 times. Winnie is saying we shouldn't be cooking 3 times a day. That's what Winnie is saying. We must be more efficient with our time.
You can't keep it. So it has to be cooked in the afternoon and cooked again in the evening.
I have seen microwaves in Malawi. I've seen them. I adopt new technology.
Well, I guess it doesn't taste the same. Mukungo eat and taste. I guess
it does.
You see the main Brenda?
No, sacrifices must be made. If we are going to progress, we must sacrifice and eat ngute for the good of our nation. That's what we must do. If we can liberate 3 hours a day for productivity, to 15 hours a week, that's practically half a working week.
If I may ask you, when was the last time that you cooked in Sim? She's just talking about cooking, but she doesn't do the cooking at home.
Ask me.
What do you mean I don't cook?
Yeah, so my name is Amos Nyaga. I'm an ophthalmologist by training. I'm based at Kamuzu Central Hospital in Lilongwe. I also do some private practice with prostate clinics, but mostly operating from the Lilongwe branch. I do not have a lot of financial background, and I think I will learn a lot from here and perhaps just give a view from the consumer perspective of the discussion that we're going to have.
I think here we are collecting all ideas from all walks of life across the 7 areas of life here, like I specified earlier. So I'm sure we'll have some spiritual contributions we'd like to see Malawi go into. And spiritual is not religion, by the way. So we'll talk about that. Thinking of questions of Kamuzu being a life president, he had time to implement a lot of things. So he could think 20 years, I will build an academy, I will educate people. But someone who is coming for a 5-year term, after 5 years, they're going to go out. Why would they build something massive that will take the country to 100 years or whatever. They're just concerned now. But I guess there's pros and cons across all these debates and discussions. So, Dr. Nyaka, what's your view so far on discussions?
I think the previous speakers have spoken well in terms of certain aspects that would do, answer your issue. I think for someone in the very rural areas to have the same opportunities that we had, I think the answer is very unlikely at this stage, because if we think of the best primary schools, I think as Banangalamira has already indicated, those in our age bracket kind of do not trust the public sector. I mean, we would not be comfortable to send our own children in a government primary school, our own children in a government secondary school. Perhaps we'll use public universities, or even if we are able to, even send them outside Malawi. It just all boils down to what everyone else has spoken, that our systems have not kept pace, nor have they improved to match the increasing population. I think it's quite hard to understand that by now we cannot have enough spaces to accommodate all qualifying Form 4 students in universities, in public universities. I think that's very deplorable. I mean, it's very painful when you hear other countries that they are able to build 4, 5 universities within a space of 3-4 years. I mean, why can't we do it in Malawi? I mean, why? Certainly, why? I mean, that's very deplorable. So I think when you talk about the chances of someone in the rural village in Palombe or in Likoma having the same opportunities like what we had, I think the chances are almost not there at all.
Now to public servant, Mr. Ngala, just give us your 30 seconds. Thanks, Dan.
No, I don't have a long introduction. I'm Gibson Garamira. I'm CEO of Press Trust. I am a development practitioner. Really, governance is what I breathe every day. Results is what I look for from my people every day. And project management is what I do every day. So really, if you're looking at me, you're looking at your public servant who really wants to make change to those that are less privileged than ourselves. We've worked together with Daniel. He knows that I'll demand that he gives me a dividend, which I can channel to some people in Chitipas.
Exactly, yeah.
So that's who I am, Chair, and I think I love my work.
Yeah, that's. It seems to me the issue and the problem is even much bigger than I had thought before. Things seems to be going an entirely opposite direction to where we should be. Because as human beings, whether in ourselves from a personal point of view, our personal point of development, our families, our communities, our countries, as time goes by, you expect to be developing, like going forwards rather than going backwards. I'm getting a sense that we are going the opposite direction, which is
okay. I am of the conviction, I will repeat this, I'm of the conviction is that we, in this age group, we should demand to be the leaders of today. The president will never write any cabinet paper. I can guarantee you that. Actually, the papers are being drafted by us. Oh, no. You want to do this? Oh, well, quickly we prepare something. We should be the leaders convincing what you call politicians. To me, they're just your leaders. They're your board members there.
Yeah.
They are waiting for ideas from us who have been well educated in the institutions that have been put there. And you guys that in the diaspora, it's time to come back, help us here.
Yeah.
You know, we need thousands of people. You know, the public service, the president now is struggling to find 490 people to be board members. You think where is he going to find them? He's got embassies all over the world to fill. You think he will just be filling people? You know, we have to help. We have to help. We should not be seeking, you know, favors, as I said, but we should be providing solutions. This is what I think the selfless public service requires. And if we do that, if we prosper together, tisamapemphane kuti oyai angaramirani nazo zambiri ndi aliyese kumuzazika pempha kuangaramira. I mean, really? No.
Yeah.
Everybody should be self-sufficient. That way we'll have developed our country. I stop there, Chair, and kwatu kuno ndi internet yomwe sinapanga invest in. So we you know, we're still struggling with internet, you see.
but the thing is, the environment should be conducive to people who want to come and do internet. Because I imagine
the environment. Don't talk of the environment as if it's something out of this world. It is us. What is it that we want? What is it that you want? You know, we should make the environment for ourselves, define it for ourselves, and then let us see, you know, see if we can achieve that.
This is the message.
We should not be thinking that there is a higher power somewhere that has got supernatural powers to do this. It is us. Walk into these offices. Let us do it.
Hello. I feel very uneducated compared to these guys with their degrees upon degrees and degrees upon degrees. So my name is Brenda. I have a degree in biomedical sciences, but I do not work in biomedical science. So I've been working in telecoms in the UK for the last 9 years. And prior to that, I've done sales of some description in advertising, software, and more recently, I've set up my own consultancy in business development and sales coaching. So that's me in a nutshell.
Yes, is there such thing as unlimited internet? Is there that provision in Malawi? Maybe it's expensive, but is it available at all, like you have here?
I'm looking at
no. There isn't, and it frustrates me because my daughter has a phone and she gets 120 gig a month to use for whatever she wants. I think the most she's ever used is 18 gig in 1 month, and even then I was really shocked. And what I spend on that is £18, which is 18,000
Malawi kwacha.
Malawi kwacha, give or take. And I know that there's a big disparity, but for Malawi to be the most expensive in the world, the most expensive in the world, you know, we're the poorest, and our barrier to access to knowledge is so high because the technology is cheap now. You know, handsets are available. The entry into that technology is cheap. It's not like my computer were extremely expensive. You know, you not everybody had computers. With mobile technology, mobile phones, tablets, things that can connect out to the internet. You know, the whole world's moving to the next phase now at the Internet of Things. The government needs to be actively investing in that infrastructure, more so than a road. I would argue that having a broadband and internet connectivity up and down the country is more important than getting the M1 retirement. I would argue that having access for every citizen to knowledge, because Peter, you talk about let's look at real life problem. You talked about people selling, they don't understand I must display a price on my goods. That's the law. And it's only when you go out. If you have a handset, the dissemination of that information is quick. And we know Malawi takes up technology quick. How my Airtel money was picked up so quickly. My sister, my grandma in the village, they know Airtel money. So we're not slow as a country. we have too many barriers, and we have a very, I don't know if any of you guys have driven from Mangochi to Dedza using the road that goes up and down the mountains. You can see mbali Akukumba. Yeah, Akukumba. That's being done by hand. It starts with saying we want to be top 10 of this in the world. And we're going to make people who do this not pay any tax. We're going to shield them from things that make them fail. That's where the Peters come into the world. That's where the companies, the leaders of industry, the Alexis, you know, we're arguing about nonsense billboards, guys. That billboard is going to change nothing for no one. It will have no impact on improving anybody's life. Nobody but the person who got paid to put that billboard up. I can tell you now. How much time did we spend? Have we ever in a group thought, what can Malawi be top 10 at? Let's really brainstorm this. Never.